Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it certainly is afternoon. I am here back in Amsterdam, and my jet lag is a little bit. Well, right now I feel okay because I slept all night. I went to bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And Betty, Betty, darling, I'm gonna sit there, sweetheart. Well, maybe I can just sit right here and share with you. I'm sitting outside because it's so beautiful, and I'm here, and I'm in a very interesting kind of mood. Interesting mood here, and thank you so much for watching my channel this morning. If you're here with me and sharing with me, sharing some interest, or just sharing, or just watching, or being a voyeur, or however you're being. I have to tell you that right now I'm in a little bit of a kind of a defensive mood. Why am I defensive? And it's just something that is arising. But first, I just want to say out loud, as I always do, is that I have respect for every single person on the planet because they are entitled to live their lives how they want to. And this is bringing me to how I'm choosing to live my life. Now, a lot of things can rise in one's head, and you can be overwhelmed by certain thoughts. And at the moment, I am not hijacked by these thoughts, but almost in the sense of like, it's just an observation for me to be able to share with you, because that's what I do, I share. And I'm defensive at the moment because I share and I choose to live my life so completely out loud and feeling the vulnerability. Now that's just here what I want to share. So like, you know, everything is rising in my own head, and rising because of a relationship to a past, or a relationship to how I relate to my thoughts of previous, which is also basically an illusion, and I can change the way I think about things. But anyway, and I may jump around here because this is unedited, this is authentic, this is real, and all my talks are if you watch my channel. But I am feeling the feelings of being angry at the moment. And angry because of just not judging the contrast that I've had to endure in my life, just like everybody else, is that I feel sometimes that, you know, the feelings of the feelings of vulnerability that arise in me are so scary in certain instances, that it just would be easier if I would just stop what I'm doing and expressing myself and living myself out loud, and, you know, and being playful as I am, and putting on wigs and makeup and playing, and just playing with my experience, and realizing that that brings a sense of conformity, but also is very liberating for me to live that way. And so I may be jumping around here because I just have a lot to say right now at the moment, and this is probably going to be a long video, but I'm just going to let it all out and let myself vent here with you, just to share a perspective and a history of a past that is gone, and I look at it from time to time, and I feel these feelings of vulnerability as I rise. So I'm here. I made a post also yesterday, or the day before yesterday, that I am so fucking happy that I don't live a mediocre life. And that is about my authentic self also. And my external experiences, my external things that come into my existence are incredibly abundant and wonderful, and I'm incredibly grateful for all of that. But and that's a byproduct of me living authentically, I think. And I'm an artist, so I can have a feeling of need to defend myself on how I act as a person. But actually, all of those things do not really matter, because they're illusions that I think, and this is my opinion, and I'm entitled to that opinion. But anyway, I want to just vent and rave a little bit about feeling this sense of conformity that I have felt. And as I evolve out loud, and I'm so grateful for doing that and feeling this vulnerability 150,000%, and allowing myself to feel that, and feeling that the fear is more of an illusion, and so I live out loud, and I want more and more of that as I peel back the onion, you know, and realize that there's no thing there behind all of this and all of this play. So I made this post about that I do not live a mediocre life, and that is including my authentic self and my integrity. And these also are just concepts, if you will. And yes, I think about that. And someone left a post, left a comment, which has now been, I've discussed with this person, and I read into it a different way than he had meant it, more of a positive way, and I got defensive. And it said, you know, I said, I'm fucking happy that I don't live a mediocre life, and LOL, laugh out loud, laugh out loud all the way to the bank. Okay, so that I said that, and this person had made a comment about 90% of people, this is offensive to 90% of the people who have lives. Yeah, and I took that defensively, and I thought, you know, like, am I supposed to go back into living in the box, and so I can feel safe, or some kind of sense of fake security, that I can feel that and feel secure in that? Well, that for me, it just touched a nerve, and I did that, and I've talked about that a lot on my channel, on this channel, and I've talked about that, you know, on my Facebook page, and and I felt, you know, like, what I'm really angry about is that societal thing. You know, although the contrast is very important for me to realize that I choose that there is no right or wrong, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. So I read this wrong, and this guy, and I wrote a response, and then I eventually started speaking to this guy, and I realized that I also I apologized to him because I had read into it and I assumed something, and he meant it more positively, and that there are 90% of people who are offended by the fact that I live, that I don't, that I'm happy, or that I choose to live myself out loud, and then it can touch people's nerves and as well. So that's quite ironic. So anyway, going back to that, I can tell you right now that I feel defensive in a sense because of the system. And the system that has taught us that we must conform and follow the herd to feel, you know, to feel this sense of security, and that it teaches us, or it taught me for sure, and this is only my opinion and perspective, but I think that maybe, and I share, and maybe it can resonate with someone or resonate with or not, because people put judgments and labels on everything that they experience to try to understand. That's what the ego does. And I got really tired of me conforming, and you know, I have always had the ability to rise above those things, and as I do rise above the conformity and the socializing, and I choose to live my life how I want to choose my life, and I am in a very fortunate place that I have created because of this, that I'm in business for myself. Now, is there a price of me, you know, if I would conform again, or if I would go backwards in myself, and that I would actually go back and fitting into the box that everybody feels much more safe, not everybody, but most people feel so much more safe, and that I'm in, so I can adapt my behavior so everybody else can feel better. Well, I think that that's a crock of shit, and that is absolutely not my choice, and will not be my choice in my life ever again, because I take full responsibility for living myself out loud. And if I, you know, like I said, you know, at the moment I'm really into makeup, I'm really into playing with that, putting a wig on, feeling that sense of creativity and I don't know, like playing, and that is it. I'm not defensive about that. I'm defensive about which is also an illusion, I'll just say, because all of this is like just momentarily on how I feel, and I'm sharing my feelings, and I share these things. And I can feel actually so angry, the fact that I have had my feelings of repression, and that I cannot behave the way I want to behave, and that I cannot, you know, act how I want to act, and be playful and choose how I want to live my life, and speak out loud more and more and more and more, and to share things about myself that I know that liberates myself, and that it will resonate with other people, because other people's lives that they have lived out loud and expressed these things has caused me less suffering. And I believe that, you know, suffering is an option. So I'm expressing that here with you right now, because, you know, life as it appears sometimes is challenging, and it's not all hunky-dory, and not also my happiness as I choose to live my happiness is my choice, and that is a conscious choice of mine. And you know, I'm a person like everybody else, and I feel everything that I feel. And those are caused by thoughts, and I really recognize that, because I became so much more interested in my own self. And a lot of people will see that maybe as selfish. I don't know. That's what arises in my head. But also a lot of people will find that my self-love, and I love myself 150%, and I'm owning everything in my life, and I'm choosing to express myself the way I want to express myself, and live out loud and feel that. And it's great. And I feel so, I've got balls. I've really got balls, and I can be selfish with that self-love, I guess, if that's considered that way, which I don't think it is at all. It's like, it's just, I don't know, it's my journey, and I'm entitled to have my journey how I want to have my journal. You know, I may seem really, really pissed off at the moment, but I am, and I see all of it. I'm right behind it, and I'm just, you know, what am I pissed off? I'm not pissed off at a person. I'm not pissed off at you know, someone's judgments or labels of me, or of you know, the opinions of other people, and the people pleasing and all that stuff. I guess those things, of course, arise because that's conditioning within myself. I'm not pissed off at a person. I'm pissed off at that, you know, what is behind or created a person is the socializing, and that we must behave, and we must be this way or that way in order for us to yeah, follow the herd. So that's controlling. Well, you know, like I said before, that is for me an absolute dead end to my own self and my own freedom that everyone talks about. You know, you must live free, and you must live, you know, how you want to choose to how you live. But there are so many requirements also behind that. And when you start peeling back the onion, you recognize that there is another layer, and there's another layer there. I certainly feel that. I feel like, absolutely, in some situations right now, with me releasing my videos, putting, you know, myself out there, wearing the wig, being outrageous, being confronting or provocative, is like almost like a project, you know, of just a person's experiences and self, and how they're using social media, and how, you know, that's my prerogative. I'm entitled to do all that. And right now I seem very defensive, and that's, if you're gonna see it this way, then you will see it this way. But I think most of you understand really what I'm talking about, because, you know, I think that, you know, if you want to live your life out loud, and, you know, like, you know, do you keep things certain as private? You know, I guess that's your choice, and those kind of things become very personal. We can have personal and private lives, which, you know, there are so many opinions about that, and how you choose to live your life in that way. But there are these kind of requirements that come with that. You know, you can live a little bit out loud and be a little bit outrageous, which, you know, for me is like when I get the comments of being crazy, or being, you know, cray cray, or like, you know, that, you know, that kind of comment, and I know that 99% of them are playful, and they are enlightening, and None of this is serious, by the way. I'm just responding to my reactions to just at the moment what was coming up in my meditation. You know, so I'm more pissed off about all of that socializing and what is socially norm, and what is normal, and how has someone, why was someone, you know, need for you to be normal, and what is that normal, you know, or that you do something, if you express your freedom and you live out loud and someone calls that crazy, or that you're crazy. It's a perception, and people are entitled to that, those judgments or labels or whatever, you know. I assume many things are behind the expression. So please, if any of you are calling me that, continue to call me whatever you want to call me, because I know it's playful, and I certainly label things as crazy too, but the good crazy or whatever. Actually, there's really no judgment in my heart. There are reactions to a conditional self, and that arises, and I feel like I want to speak about it because I think it can resonate, and we can love each other and be more creative and be more expressive with that creativity, and live in joy, and you know, not point our fingers at each other and all those kind of things. That's my motivation behind all of this. Is really also like with my own self-love and my love for humanity, and the insatiable desire for me to express that. It's so very important for me, and yeah, and so all of that has been rising in my mind, and I just want to just share that with you. And it can make me really kind of sad in a way that, you know, I can feel that way, but at the same time I observe those feelings, and that arises and it falls, and I'm back putting on my wig, and I'm back expressing myself and putting my videos out there and starting this YouTube channel, and I think it's authentic, and I have integrity to continue to do how I want to do, and express how I want to express. And however that's seen, you know, I have, along with a crazy comment, I have gotten an actual person who, I was working for a company who had seen a video of mine and made the assumption that I was bipolar and that I should get some help. You know, that I should get some help. And, you know, this person, if you're watching this, it's like, it's interesting that I would be judged by my feelings of expression and my feelings of being ecstatic, because I was ecstatic in that video. And I have those, you know, I have that, and I have a lot of energy, and I express my energy, and I have many sides of myself, which, you know, on my channel I express my tears, and that can change from one day to the next. And I know that, you know, people aren't documenting themselves 24/7, and people don't see them 24/7. But I certainly know that in this experience that I have, and by talking to a lot of my friends, is that we all have these emotions that rise and fall. It's the whole full spectrum of emotions. And we feel these emotions, and we are not, you know, or repress them, or take, you know, some people, you know, this person suggested that I get help, and that I, you know, maybe need to go on some kind of medication. Well, isn't that common? Like, that's so common, you know. And I took defense to that, and like got a little bit because I was judged, and that's coming from a response that I have been that kid again, you know, who was hyperactive, and that I had to behave in a certain way so other people could feel better. That's all related to that, you know. And, you know, I mean, people are entitled to that. So when I heard that, it arose in the feeling of defense. It's the same thing as crazy, because, you know, if you do anything that's out of the norm, which is whatever, I don't know what normal is, because for me, my actions and what I'm doing is normal. But it's normal. It's just a fucking label, you know. It can make me really, really upset about that. And people are all entitled to how they feel. And how they, you know, but they make it a point to tell someone that my opinion right now is a final, and I assume that he needs help, so he needs to get help because I care for him. You know, that's a really interesting thing that has just arose. But at the same time, you know, I get a lot of PMs, a lot of personal messages where people are so so grateful for my authentic self and for expressing and living and being the example. And also right now I just want to express that perhaps, because this is the road less traveled, that what is arising in me, what I realize that I make this choice fully, and that I will continue to express myself as an artist and as a person. And I use social media because it's there and I want to, because it's my choice. And, I could, some people are very afraid of the fact of how they're seen. That's part of socializing. And they hide certain parts of themselves and their fetishes and their desires and their inadequacies and their feelings and everything, so they will be perceived a certain way that they want them to be perceived. I don't have that. I don't really have that in myself, and I don't want to be perceived other than how I am, and that's a long journey. There's a history here, there's a story, but I'm not my story. I'm just something created. Now I make these choices in my life, and to be able to express that, and I'm here expressing it. So, people are entitled to their opinions, like I said, and they will definitely have them, and they feel, even my partner, can feel that, with me running around, expressing myself with makeup, or that I feel that that's a hobby, a feeling of expression, or feelings of just how I feel so good in that my partner can place his feelings on how I am behaving, and that is all about him. And someone's reaction is all about them, and everybody's entitled, but I'm not going to doubt myself. And my partner is so incredibly supportive, and we speak about those things. So I just share that because it is part of my truth, or part of this experience that I'm having here in my life. Now, this is a long-winded video, and I'm just ranting about that because I just feel so, I feel so entitled, and it's my birthright to love myself fully, and that I bring myself joy. And I seem to bring a lot of other people joy, and I push people's buttons, and they can push mine, obviously, with this. Not they, it's the system, because I can see that, and I think that's an intelligent thing, and expressing myself. This is all, my self-talk and what arises in a person and a perspective of taking an action. And when you take an action, I take full responsibility for that action. So nothing has to change. Nothing has to change. I would like to see a better world, and that we all are creative, and we're all not wearing the same thing to fit in and feel comfortable, and to be, and just, I want freedom. I want freedom for everybody. And I have my freedom of expression. I have that, and that comes at, I wouldn't say a price. The feeling of feeling that, the feelings that I feel because I am authentic, and that I'm getting more and more free with my expression. People say there are time and place for everything. Well, that for me is very different from someone else's feeling of that, or how they relate to that expression. Or, I will leave you with this. I have said this before, is that I make a choice to live my life out loud, and I take full responsibility for everything that comes into my experience, because I do that. And I'm going to be ridiculed, I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be seen as a joke, I'm going to be loved, and that love I have is authentic. So people who do not judge me at all, and who want to engage with me, and that my talks or whatever, it resonates, because we're all mirrors, and I believe that like attracts like. And so those people who really support me, I'm so incredibly grateful for that, because we're all one, basically. So the contrast is important, that I recognize this feelings of anger and that arise, and that those feelings are important, so I can, let go and recognize that what I'm doing for myself, and for myself only, then that is there, and that's my truth. So, and I would, just now, I get off, I just keep talking because I have a lot to say, and I feel like I want to say a lot of things. But my feelings are my choices. If it would cause me to lose any job, or that I would not be, that I'm embarrassing, or that it's shameful for them, or it's just embarrassing to have me working for them because I express myself as a person, and that we're in a time of social media, and I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to that. I'm just going to be myself. And I respect, I have compassion for everybody, and I don't judge and label. I just don't. That's out of my, it's out of my experience. And when of course thoughts arise. Things arise in one's head because I'm conditioned, but this moment's never happened. And I can change the way I think about things. So if I would lose any job because how someone sees me on Facebook, and I don't even have privacy. Everybody can go on my Facebook and look, and that's really amazing for me, and it's great. And I will, take you away from my channel. Don't look at me, don't follow me, don't whatever, because if you feel uncomfortable, more safe. So I don't think there's, there's no other possibility for me. So if I would lose everything because I love myself and I express myself, so be it. It's just that way. It's just like that. That's life. And I've never been in this place before in all my 52 years where I feel free. And I feel so free. And I want you to feel free too. I love and respect every opinion that is out there, but it's theirs and it's yours. And we can agree to disagree. Thank you for listening to my rant, and thank you for just for the support and for the not support. Take care of yourself, and love is the name of the game, and it's unconditional, and freedom has no limits. And I'm unapologetically myself, although I may feel defensive because that rises. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.